On this AirCheck episode, we continue our conversation with Brian Kelsey. He's an on-camera host, cinematographer, producer, and voice actor.
This is part 2 of a 4-part series. Brian explains how COVID-19 impacted his TV show 10 Minutes with Brian Kelsey, as one famous Today Show host was forced to social distance and be interviewed outside in the cold. We relive the time Gilbert Gottfried showed up. Brian also sheds light on his other TV show, Kelsey on the House, that aired on COZI-TV, the time he spent on the radio and TV with Martha Stewart, and his appearances on The Today Show and Fox and Friends.
Let's begin.
Welcome to AirCheck Season 4, a podcast about radio's personality from radio personalities, managers, consultants, owners, and your most humble hosts from Philadelphia, Rich DeSisto and Paul Kelly.
I'm Rich DeSisto.
And I'm Paul Kelly.
Our conversation with Brian Kelsey continues. It's part 2 of 4. When we last spoke with Brian, he explained why he built a late-night TV set in his garage for his latest project, 10 Minutes with Brian Kelsey.
I have a carpentry background, so of course I made it like completely crazy, and
who he modeled the desk after.
Custom built the desk, just the exact specifications of, I think it was Conan O'Brien's desk. I copied, I found it online.
His love for late-night TV hosts and the guests he's had on, plus those who rejected to appear.
This is from Paul Schaefer's people of the David Letterman fame. Hello, Brian. Thank you for the offer. However, Mr. Schaefer is not available ever.
Again, let's hear it from Brian Kelsey. We talk about the challenges of doing the show and the pandemic. How do we get this thing going? I love your episode where it is pandemic friendly and you've got your guest sitting out in the driveway in the cold next to a fire pit.
Yeah, well, so Craig Melvin is the host, or one of the hosts of the Today Show. He lives in my town. I didn't know anybody that could get him, like that could directly connect me with him. So I did the proper channels, which is to reach out to NBC, to go through all the PR departments to find the right one, finally found it. And they were so good and so nice. And it took about a year to get him.
Wow.
Because every time he was booked, like something else would happen. Like there was the, little things like, an election or what was the other thing? There was something huge, and like he has to leave the country. And I'm like, is that more important than coming to my garage? Really? Is the election?
Let me tell you, this puts Studio 1A to shame.
Yes, well, we tried to make it comfortable. How you doing?
I'm great. Bourbon's great. Fire's great. This concept is.
You like it? Well,
I do.
We got a little. We knew we did a little research.
Does Pete ever get out? Pete doesn't.
Oh, Pete, of course. Pizza. We do a little stuff in the beginning. What I do is what you just missed before is I read rejection letters of guests who have politely declined. Can you imagine declining this request?
I can't imagine.
Now, normally people are right here, but of course with COVID, we're, and so why stop? Just go in the driveway.
Yeah, this is great.
Now, speaking of COVID, so finally he came, and it was, of course, February, and there was a foot of snow on the ground, and, it was COVID. We couldn't have him come sit next to me, so I put a beach chair in the driveway, a PA speaker out there so he could hear on the ground, a microphone, and I asked his assistant what he liked in terms of beverages, and she said he likes a bourbon neat. So Pete was standing by with a big thing of bourbon, and I brought the fire pit around, and he literally just pulled up, got out, sat down, everything was rolling, and the fire pit was there, and he had a great time. Afterwards he was really, really thankful and really nice.
Well, I wonder if NBC as an entity finds what you're doing complimentary, or do they think that you're, going a little bit beyond borrowing and having fun with it?
Nope, not yet, because I'm still, in the minor leagues here. But like I said, there's, these bigger companies are looking to these people like yourselves, like myself, who are so vested in what they're doing, and really, we're all doing it for free. We're all just making it happen. And you build up a core audience, and they're looking to these smaller people now, they being like networks, streaming services, and other, kind of platforms like that. But nobody said anything yet. But, I think the only thing really like I don't want to copy David Letterman, but I take inspirations of what he did and just the way, the angle that he took with certain things. But my favorite thing, and the one thing I did steal, although I guess everybody has a phone, is an analog old phone on the disc. I wanted that like, Dave, you should just pick up the phone and you'd hear you'd plunk down one of the lines, you'd hear the dial tone throughout the studio, throughout the audio, you could hear everything.
This will just take a second. Let me get to this. Hello.
This is Carl from sales.
Hi, Carl. How you doing?
I need to run down a few things with you.
Great. Let me put you on hold for a second, okay? Hang on.
Yeah, put me on hold. You son of a bitch. Who am I?
Whoa.
And that is not an easy thing to do alone. Then they have, someone's on a mixing board and they're bringing up the faders and stuff. So I had to figure out how to do that. I wanted it to be able to be heard through the PA really loud in the studio, and also it needed to be recorded on its own separate track in, on my what I'm recording it on, which is Adobe Audition. I have everything's on different tracks, and also be able to. It's hard to explain, but like it's called mix minus, where there's no feedback. You guys probably know what I'm talking about, but where they can hear you and you can hear them on the phone. And the only way to talk to the person is to actually physically hold the phone against your ear and talk into the receiver, which I think looks funny. So that took a lot, but I figured it out. But that's one of the things that that was like the first thing that I tried to do. But I mean, everybody's got a phone in their day. I think, does Jimmy have Fallon? I don't know. Maybe they don't. I think Kimmel has a phone on his desk.
Well, the one thing I can definitely assure you, and I'm sure you knew that going into it, is nobody has their guest waiting outside their garage door in their driveway before they come in and get introduced to come out onto the set. That's pretty funny.
Well, that's a little bit of trickery. That definitely does not actually happen, or we'd have no guests. So what I do is we film the guests first, and so we do have them come in through the garage door. So we're like, okay, let's go. I mic them up. Garage door closes, and they stand out there. And I purposefully just give it a few beats because we have a camera outside. So you see the guest standing there. So I just give it a few beats so we have some footage of the person standing out there. And we shoot that whole thing. And then after they leave, we do the rest of the show. So I can say, hey, Pete, let's check the external cam and let's see if Craig Melvin, is he still out there? And it looks like they're out there waiting for, 20 minutes, but they're really not.
Very funny.
It's all in how you present it. It's all how you.
Well, creativity is something that both Rich and I love, and having you on to talk about what you're doing, I mean, you're just overflowing with it. You're making something out of a hammer and a nail and creating this stage set, this production. You've got guests coming into your driveway, your garage, and if they can't get there, well, then you'll even do a satellite link up. And the Gilbert Gottfried, you had him on your show. Talk about him.
Yeah, he was great. He was another one of those. He was coming into town, but it really didn't make sense. They wanted to sort of promote the show, so he had to come on earlier to promote it because he couldn't come the day of because the show was that day. So we always try to not do Zoom interviews and have a big giant screen, and it's a little bit of a complex setup to do, but just because it's just not the same, having the garage door open, the music, and they come walking in and sit down. But he was great. He was really, really good and really, really game. Ladies and gentlemen, Gilbert Gottfried. There he is.
Could hold the crowds back.
Oh, it's just amazing. Gilbert, thanks for joining us.
Oh, thank you.
You look fantastic.
But I mean, Gilbert Gottfried, he seems like somebody that will be on that list of you can't control him, you just got to try and contain him. Would you agree with that?
Yeah, definitely. But he was pretty laid back and game for things. I wanted to, with every guest, I try to do something other than the interview, like some sort of, not really a game, but like just something other than just the interview. And sometimes they say yes, sometimes they say no, and it's totally fine. But Gilbert, I just asked him to do a whole series of impressions, just like rapid fire. Can I give you like a lightning round and of a few names,
Okay.
and you just do them? Okay. Larry David.
I was doing this show. Curb, I don't know what they want me to do that.
Dice.
Hey, what are you, a homo? Hey, hickory duck. Oh!
Jerry Seinfeld.
Why do they call it margarine? Why don't they call it butter? Why do they call it imitation butter? It's like, it looks and tastes like butter, but it's not. It's margarine.
Oh my God, Bill Cosby.
Well, you know what is about, and it goes into the thing, and
One more. My favorite, my former boss, Howard Stern.
I never did a Howard show.
Never? How about a Baba Booey? Give me somebody from the Stern Show.
Oh, Baba Booey. I just got done with someone on the phone. Woof.
They were just so funny that it was just so funny the way he was doing it. But he was pretty subdued, and his wife was there, and she got him all set up and stuff. So it was cool. It was really neat.
Air Check, a podcast about radio's personality from radio personalities. You're listening to Season 4. Catch up with Seasons 1, 2, and 3. Available now on Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, and Spotify. You can also tell your smart speaker to play Air Check Podcast.
Before we get into the radio stuff, talk a little bit about how the Martha Stewart show came about, and how your carpentry skills led you to being a guest not only on her TV show but also the Today Show, Fox and Friends. I mean, you really kind of built, pardon the pun, yourself a nice little road there. So talk a little bit about that.
I had started doing when YouTube was sort of getting popular and whatever, I started to do a lot of how-to videos, carpentry, because that's people just want to know stuff, and it's second nature to me. I can't believe somebody doesn't know how to hang a picture or whatever, and so
Don't laugh at me.
It's not that hard. So I was doing, and with my video background, I was just doing a lot of videos, and I actually, same sort of thing as this. I created a show. It was called Kelsey on the House.
My name is Brian Kelsey. I'm a newly divorced father of 2, and I'm a carpenter. Not an actor. Clearly not a professional host. I answer the home renovation and design questions you guys post to me on Twitter and Facebook. Then I show you how to do it and get a little inspiration from celebrities along the way.
I'm looking for the easiest thing to make.
It's crazy, but I love it, and I love showing you guys how to do stuff. Free of charge. It's on the house.
And it ran for a super short season on an NBC. I don't know if you call it not an affiliate. It ran across the country, but on one of the sort of spin-offs of NBC. Oh, COZI-TV. That's what it was.
So this is like pre-Peacock.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
And we shot a few episodes, and same thing. I edited it. I couldn't shoot it myself, obviously, because it was carpentry and everything like that. So, and so that got some traction, and with that, I got on the Today Show to do a segment about. It was a bunch of different things about building stuff, and then from there, I got asked to be on the Martha Stewart radio show, which is on Sirius XM, because they had heard. And so I was on that, and then after they asked me, they said, "Hey, there was two co-hosts like you guys. There was 2 of them, and one of them was leaving." And they said, "You've got a radio background, you've got a carpentry background. Do you want to, be hired to be to host the show with Betsy, who was the other one that was on there?" So I said, "Yeah." So the 2 of us did a live 4-hour talk show nationwide every day from I think it was 7 to 11 at Sirius.
Now, here are your hosts, Betsy Koretnick and Brian Kelsey on Martha Stewart Living Radio.
Just after the top of the hour, welcome to Morning Living with Betsy and Brian. We're going to have instructions on the pressure cooker and you.
Well, it's a task I don't think any of us in this room have ever.
I don't have a pressure cooker.
Yeah.
I wouldn't mind one, though.
So you're saying it's really the opposite of slow cooking. It pressurized. We'll find out, but I guess it's fast
And
cooking.
of course, Howard was there, so I'd always see him, my old buddy. And then from there, Martha asked me to be on the TV show.
Our next guest, he's a licensed contractor and also the co-host of our Morning Living on the very popular Sirius radio channel, Martha Stewart Living Radio. Please welcome Brian Kelsey. Brian, so nice to have you here. Thank you.
Thanks for having me.
So you're the ultimate handyman.
I guess you could say that.
The one that James Taylor sings about?
Yes, maybe. I do a lot of running around my neighborhood, helping people with their projects.
You do?
I get a lot of calls because I'm home in the afternoon.
Oh.
And
right, because his day starts. He gets on the 5:20 a.m. train from Westport to New York, and you're on the radio live every single day from 7 to 11. Talking about all kinds of things, but and co-hosting is you do a great job.
Oh,
thank you very much.
We have a blast. It's Betsy Kretnick and I together.
Yep.
We co-host, and we do everything. Everything, entertaining, cooking, cleaning, DIY projects.
Right, and that's Sirius Channel 110, Martha Stewart Living Radio.
That's right.
Yes.
It was great. Like, studio audience. I mean, like, it was the best. It was just so great. It was awesome.
Let's talk about the Today Show appearance. What did you do on there?
Let's see. I showed them how to. Let me see if I can remember. I showed them how to take an old window and make it into a mirror. They wanted 5 projects, I think, and you only have 3.5, 4 minutes, so it's like it has to move along and it has to be funny and everything like that. And I showed them how to do them being, I think it was Hoda and Carson Daly. Then had to turn a beer bottle into a lamp.
All right, everybody, grab your toolbox, whether you've got junk laying around in your house or you're a habitual dumpster diver or a garage sale gatherer. People who dive in dumpsters. We're going to show you how to give that new life to that old stuff.
All right, here with 3 easy DIY projects is Brian Kelsey, a licensed contractor and host of Kelsey on the House, premiering this October on NBC's COZI-TV. Brian, good to see you.
Good to see you. What's happening?
What's happening with you?
Come on down.
We've got some great things, you guys. Now, I know you both have probably jumped in some dumpsters now and again. We're not really going in the dumpsters, but I wanted to show you some projects that are very easy to do yourself. And we're going to start with making a lamp. You can make a lamp out of anything, literally.
I know how to turn a lamp into a beer bottle.
See? You're halfway there. I know how to drink out of I drink the beer first and then make it into a lamp. It's an art form to be on these shows because there's a lot going on. There's a lot of cues. You have to really keep going, especially with Martha. It was very, everything had to be very timed out.
Tell me what it was like with those folks on the Today Show. You're talking Carson and Hoda. How are they? People want to know. What are these people really like?
They're so nice. Everybody there is just so nice. It's almost unbelievable, because they're so busy and they see so many people, they being the crew, the cast, everybody, and just so nice. The whole experience is just great. I mean, they sent a car out, they bring it in, the whole thing, and it was just great.
And then you met Martha Stewart.
Yeah, and Martha to me was amazing. She literally stopped the show. So my segment was over, and they tape live to tape. So they take when they go to commercial, the music plays, and they only want to do it for about 2 minutes. But she kept talking to me, and the music stopped, and she kept asking me questions, and they were freaking out because the audience is sitting there. Everybody's waiting for her to continue the show, and she's like, "No, I want to talk to Brian. Now, Brian, I've got this thing in my garage or in my thing. How would I do that?" And so it was really, really funny. But she was so nice. And then I came back and did a whole segment on tiling, and it was a great experience.
2 of 4 in the books.
another 4-part series of episodes here on Season 4 of Air Check.
On our next episode, Part 3 of 4 with Brian Kelsey, Brian takes us to that radio station sitcom WKRP in Cincinnati. Brian reveals his favorite character that started it all. He also takes us back to when he first started in radio in 1992 and how he joined 2 legendary New York City radio stations at points of format changes just 3 years apart from each other.
You can follow us, stream, and download every episode of Air Check on Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, and Spotify. You can also tell your smart speaker to play Air Check Podcast. If you haven't done so, give us a great rating. We'd also love to hear from you on our Facebook page, Air Check Me.
This is Rich DeSisto.
And I'm Paul Kelly.
We'll talk to you soon.
Closing out another episode of Air Check, a podcast about radio's personality from radio personalities. If you have radio stories to share, we'd love to hear from you. Join the Air Check guest list. Email aircheckme@gmail.com. Musical props are Chris Gordon's. Announcer props, I'll take those. Greg O'Brien, the OB. Air Check is available now on Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, and Spotify. You can also tell your smart speaker to play Air Check Podcast. Air Check is the creation of RDPK Productions.